Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Poppy and this is my channel about knitting and crocheting and generally my crafty journey. I am coming to you from Gloucestershire in the UK, where I live with my partner and my little boy and our pets, who some of the pets are prowling as we speak, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit distracted. I'm also filming by the window and there are people walking past, so I'm also slightly distracted by that, so apologies in advance. This is going to be a podcast in the traditional format, so I'm going to kick off straight away by talking about my finished object. Now, I will say it's probably an almost finished object. It's off the needles, but it's unblocked, has no buttons, and the ends haven't been sewn in yet. But pleased to report I have finished my home cardigan by Cadry, and here it is. I couldn't figure out a way to kind of stand up, put it on and show you, so I might insert some footage when it's blocked. Probably not when I've put buttons on because I haven't ordered them yet, but it's off the needles. It is lilac and blue, colour blocked. It has blue cuffs, blue button band and blue ribbing. I made this, hang on, I've made some notes, so let me just refer to them. I made this in yarn King Cole Timeless Chunky. So that is a 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca. So you can see that it's got nice little alpaca-y bits. In terms of the yarn, I like it. It feels soft, but it's a bit splitty and I don't know how hot it's going to be to wear, but I did like the yarn. It was very affordable. I do prefer natural fibres, but sometimes money doesn't allow us to just buy all the yarn that we like. So this, I feel like it's a good solid kind of yarn, and I did enjoy working with it because it's bulky. This knitted up kind of in no time at all, really. It took me maybe a month, which is probably slow compared to some knitters, but for me, knitting is a slow-ish craft. So I like to take my time. I don't like to just rush through things and make my hands hurt. So I'm happy with how quickly it knitted up. I did it in my self-imposed deadline of by the end of this month because I want to wear it out for lunch. In terms of adjustments, I made it more cropped than it's supposed to be. At the moment, it's still sitting a bit short, but I'm hoping that with blocking, it will stretch out a little bit. I used twisted rib on the cuff and the ribbing, just because I like the way it looks. What else did I do? I think that's really all the changes that I made, and changed the colours obviously to make them contrasting. I really like the colours. I think it's really nice and spring-like. So yes, I am happy with this. I knitted it in the size 2XL. I probably could have gone down a size, but it's a nice boxy shape. I am going to put some pictures up of the potential buttons. So there's an option is either just clear buttons, but I have found two other options that I really like. One is kind of a plastic iridescent colour, which I thought would be really fun. And the other is some really sparkly resin buttons from Etsy. I think I'm probably going to go with the sparkly resin. I'll put some photos up and maybe you can let me know which you prefer. I think that will really add to the general fun of this cardigan. So yeah, I'm happy with it. It's actually really warm today. I'm sitting with it on my lap and I'm like, oh, it's quite warm. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll get somewhere out of it before it gets too hot. So if that's my main finished object, I also have, from last time I was talking about the Sophie Scarf, which was really an exercise in using some of the nice yarn that I've got in my stash. So I have also finished the Sophie Scarf. Here she is. So this was knitted with one strand, oh, beautiful. I don't know if you can see. Modelled expertly and slightly furiously. It was knitted with one strand of Islington, no, not Islington Yarn Company, Kettle Yarn Company in, I'm not sure the colourway, but in a really lovely vibrant pink, and one strand of unknown merino singles, maybe hedgehog fibres, maybe ching fibre, not sure. I like, as I mentioned in my last video, the kind of cool toned pink kind of brings down the very, very vibrant pink. And it's got some little dark speckles going through. The Kettle yarn is in the variety Islington, which is a blue face Leicester and silk blend, which is lovely. I knitted kind of between the two sizes, so it should really go around my neck twice, but it goes around once. And I like it. I think on a chillier day, but it's, you know, and it's not too cold, you don't need a massive scarf. It just kind of fills the gap between coat and top. Do I feel like I'm not chic enough to pull this off? Yes, possibly. I don't know. I'm not sure. I will let you know if it is in regular rotation. I've worn it once so far. But it is nice, and really it was an exercise in, I was just desperate to knit something. I wanted to use up some of the beautiful yarn that I've got in my stash. And so I'm pleased that I've made it. I like the pattern, it's very simple, but I'm not a natural self-drafter. It's something that I'd like to get better at. When I was first in the community, it was not as common to self-draft your own things, whereas now it's much more of a thing. So we'll see how I do with that, because I would quite like to do more self-drafting. It's editing me, hello. Just a little clip in here because I don't think I explained properly why I suddenly started going on about self-drafting. What I meant to say was, it was a very simple pattern that I probably, you know, could have self-drafted if I had more confidence, but I don't have that confidence at the moment with self-drafting, but I intend to get there at some point. So that's why I used the pattern. Okay, bye. So, Sophie Scarf. Is there anything else I want to say about that? Don't think so. No, but lovely. So I thought I would maybe run through a couple of things that I've made since I started knitting again a couple of months ago. So obviously there's those two things. I also knitted myself a headband, which is the Headband with a Twist by Morella Moments, which is a free pattern. This was made in unknown DK/worsted weight variegated yarn. I think it might be Madeline Tosh. It might be, hang on one moment please, cat related stuff. So yeah, I think it's possibly Mad Tosh or Hedgehog Fibres. It's really, really nice. It's a merino. I think it's just merino. And I just wanted something to keep my ears warm. So I love a hat and I will make more hats, but I like to wear my hair up a lot and I just find that's awkward with a hat. So I've got no idea how this looks because I've got no other screen, but I just wanted something to cover my ears on a really cold morning. So I've definitely got some wear out of this, and yeah, it fits really nicely. I love the kind of fisherman's rib stitch. It was a very nice project, kind of easing back into knitting. So there's that. And then I've also made some dishcloths that I'm not going to show you because A, no one really needs to see dishcloths in just plain cotton, and B, they're in use and in rotation. If you are a beginner knitter, I do feel strongly that you should knit things that you really want, because that gives you kind of the impetus to keep going if you're finding it tricky. But a dishcloth is so useful, eco-friendly because it's something you're washing, they wash well and you're reusing, and it also introduces you to lots of different techniques. So you have to cast on, you have to bind off, you increase, you decrease. There are free patterns on Ravelry. So yeah, would recommend as a beginner project. But I'm not going to show you those. I'm going to show you the cowl that I made my son, which is the Oats cowl by Tin Can Knits, which again I think is a free pattern. So again, it's an unknown variegated yarn that I had caked up 5 years ago. I think it might be Malabrigo. I really like it on the garter stitch. I don't love the pooling in the stockinette, but it's a really nice colour, and it's good for my son because, yeah. And he's worn it loads. He loves it. He loves wearing his cowl and telling everyone that I made it, which is really nice. So yes, very happy with that one too. And that's just, it was knitted in the round, and it's just a combination of garter and stockinette stitch with the ribbing on each side. I don't think in the dead of winter, I'm not entirely sure this would be warm enough for him. I think I'd probably make a deeper one with like tighter ribbing so it sits around his neck a bit better. But also he has like swung this around, stretched it, thrown it on the floor, etc, etc. So it's wearing well at the moment. So that is it in terms of projects that I've made recently. I don't know, I might talk about projects from the archives, so things that I've made prior to when I stopped knitting for a while, because I was going to make a video of everything that I've ever knit, but on Ravelry, when I was looking through my projects, I don't know, it made me feel a little bit sad, and so many weren't finished, and I don't know, I'm not entirely sure it would be a particularly interesting video, but I thought there are some that I really loved making. I really love the finished objects, and now I don't know where they are, a lot of them. So today I thought I would talk about my Weekender sweater. So the pattern is by Andrea Mowry. It's a very popular pattern, and it is a lovely garment. So it's a pullover, it's kind of a boat neck. I made it in Madeline Tosh Vintage in kind of a dark chartreuse colour. It came out more cropped than I think I was comfortable wearing at the time. Annoyingly, I think if I found it now, I'd be happy to wear it. But at the time, still very much in the skinny jeans era, and I just felt like it wasn't long enough. But I did wear it. I've got some nice photos of me wearing it on a train, on a yarn trip to London with my friend. Nice pictures of me wearing it whilst knitting, very aesthetic. And then one of me wearing it outside Loops of London, which is obviously an amazing yarn shop. So I will share those photos. I don't know, has anyone else made the Weekender? I'm sure loads of people have. I would potentially make it again because I think it is just such a wearable piece and it's quite an easy project. So that is one from the archives. Now, on to what I'm currently knitting, and the answer is nothing, because I cast the Home Cardigan off last night. Had to do an Italian bind off on the whole button band, which took me all evening. I actually do quite like that method though. I love the effect. And so if I show you, perhaps show you up close if you've not done it before, it just has a really nice clean bind off. So you don't get that kind of rigid line that you get with other bind offs. but it was a long and laborious process. But once you're into the rhythm of it and you know you've got it into your head, I find it really relaxing, just kind of the motion of doing it, and it, you know, got the TV on, and it just feels quite nice. So I finished that last night, so I have now not cast anything else on. I've spoken a couple of times about my next project, which is April's Vest, and I showed you the yarn that I bought for it, which is this. It's a pom-pom yarn, so it's been made in collaboration between Pom Pom Quarterly, a knitting magazine, and Hobby Yarns. And I didn't actually make that connection when I bought it. I thought it was just the name of the yarn was Pom Pom, but it's Pom Pom Yarns and it's garland. And it's lovely. It's 70% cotton and 30% alpaca. So it's got a really nice halo. It comes in lovely colours, slightly, they're not variegated, but they're tonal, which gives it a really nice natural look. It's super soft. And I made a swatch with it. And like I said in my last video, it's not the right weight. The April's Vest is for an Aran weight, and this is more of a heavy DK, or actually just a DK. It says heavy DK, but I think it's more of just a DK. I swatched with it, and I really, really like how it knits up. It's got a beautiful halo that kind of gives it that almost knitted with mohair look, but it should be really soft on the skin and nice, light, breathable fabric. And I really like how the two colours I've chosen work with each other in a striped pattern. So I'm no longer using that for April's Vest, but I now don't know what to use it for. I have yarn for April's Vest, which I'll show you in a minute, but I feel like I'm missing from my wardrobe a cropped, slightly more fitted t-shirt to wear with wide-legged trousers. I don't know if I don't know if I'm confident enough to wear something cropped and more fitted, because I'm so used to wearing baggy and loose. There are a couple of patterns that I've been eyeing up. So let me get Ravelry up. I have been looking at the Mio Mighty by Park Williams, which is a cropped t-shirt basically. It's not super fitted, but I could always add a couple of decreases in, I'm sure, to kind of make it a bit more fitted. I thought maybe I would do it striped, so a striped situation, or kind of the yoke one colour, then some striping, and then the ribbing a solid colour. So that is an option. I think they finish it with a rolled hem, but I know that'll get on my nerves, so I would probably use some ribbing. So that's an option. I also really, really love the Stripe Overload Polo Tee by Spectaluxtric. Sorry, I really will find out how to pronounce that. Which is a polar neck, so it's got a little collar, and she does it in stripes. I like it a lot, which is why I did the swatch in stripes, but she makes this in 100% cotton, and I'm not sure whether the overall look would go with a more fluffy yarn with a halo. I think I'll probably wait, and I will do that in just cotton. So I'm unsure what I'm going to be using pom-pom garland for yet, but it's nice to know that I have it for when a project does come up. There is a nice lace vest that I talked about in my spring and summer plans video that could be gorgeous in this, but again, do you want it fluffy if it's a lace pattern? Don't know, not sure, open to suggestions. So next cast on is going to be April's Vest, I think. And I rebought the yarn, so this looks much more of the right thickness. I haven't gauge swatched yet because I needed to finish the button band, because I knew I wouldn't if I started doing anything else. Anyway, the yarn I've got is Sheepies, and it's Stone Washed XL, which is a cotton and acrylic blend. So it's 70% cotton, 30% acrylic. And I really like the look of it so far. It's soft, but it still feels woolly-ish, but it's got that cotton attributes as well. I wouldn't usually go for a neutral colour, but I thought, because I'm going to colour block it again, I thought maybe embrace a neutral to go with the green. So I think maybe green and then the natural colour. So the colourways I've gone for are New Jade and, bear with me, New Jade and, Axonite. So, got those. I'm going to gauge swatch today. Hopefully I can again get this cast on tomorrow, because the sun is out and I'm feeling the need for a vest. So that is that. Other plans. What other plans do I have? Those are my main ones now. I can't really afford to buy any more yarn for a while. So I'm going to decide what to make with Pom Pom Garland, and I'm going to gauge swatch for the April's vest. So that is where we are with knitting. I unfortunately haven't been doing any crochet. I haven't been working on the crochet blanket. Maybe I should do a couple of lines of that before I cast on for the vest, so that I feel like I have at least done something on it. So I think that's probably all the knitting and crochet or lack of crochet content. I have found a book that I'm enjoying, and it's called The Sirens by Amelia Hart. I read her first book, which is called Wayward, which was about witchiness, basically, through several, it's told through the voice of several generations of women. And I really loved it. I think I mentioned before that I like realistic books with some otherworldliness sprinkled in. So I can highly recommend Wayward by Amelia Hart. That was really good. So this is her second book, and this focuses more on kind of mythical creatures, I think, which I suppose is what the sirens are. I'm enjoying it, probably not quite as much as Wayward, because I think witches are probably more my thing, but I am really enjoying it, and it's kept my attention, which I was struggling with a little bit with the previous books that I've read. So recommend Amelia Hart as an author. Check her out. I have not watched any films, but we've just finished watching The Penguin on Now TV or Sky Atlantic, which is about the character the Penguin from Batman, his backstory. I found the first episode, I thought, is it just going to be is everyone going to be deeply unpleasant and I'm not going to really connect with any of the characters? But after the first episode, I definitely got sucked in, and you do end up really connecting with the deeply unpleasant characters. Really well acted. The way they've done Gotham it looks visually amazing. All the characters are really kind of fleshed out and explored. So if you're wanting something a little bit dark for your early spring nights, then I would recommend that. It's really good. So I think that's everything. I feel like I've really whizzed through this video. We'll see. I haven't checked how long I've been recording for. But yes, thank you so much for watching. Oops, just kicked the camera. Professional at all times. Thanks so much for watching. And if you want to chat, leave me a comment. I would be overjoyed if you fancied liking or subscribing, but no pressure. Okay, I will see you in a week or two. Bye.